Have you ever seen a video of yourself doing a kata and thought to yourself, oh, come on! Then let's talk about some ways to improve your kata, either for belt testing or for competition. Hey, it's Dustin from the Main Street Joplin studio. I'm going to give you some things to think about so that you can make your katas look better when you're going up for a belt test or if you're getting ready for a tournament. So number one, we want to slow down so that we can concentrate on the three things that tend to make us look bad if we're not paying attention to them. Number one is going to be form. Second will be accuracy and focus. They're sort of separate, but they're also sort of the same and tie into each other. For this video, I'm going to talk about them grouped together. Third will be memory. Memory is last because it's the one that will develop the most over time. What you remember now is what we have to work with, and that'll get better as we go. Form is something you can fix right now through discipline. You've been taught during your private lessons what a good bow is, what a good horse is, what a good cat stance is, all of these. If any point while you're practicing you realize you're in a position that's not one of those, that probably needs to get fixed. Even in an open tournament, any black belt in any style is going to be able to evaluate form, whether something looks like it should look. That's why it's number one on the list. Accuracy is the second one, and it will also improve over time, but only if you're holding yourself accountable. A phrase I hear a lot is, well, that was close enough. Was it though? Was it really?
Nope.
Was it close enough when you were watching the video of yourself that you're embarrassed about? It was not. And you'll get better by not accepting close enough. So what is accuracy? Accuracy is when you're throwing strikes to the correct places in relation to yourself and each other. You never want to just be throwing your strikes out there and think, Jesus, take the wheel. Remember, when you're performing a kata, you're telling a story, and every strike is a detail. Imagine if you went in to see Iron Man the first time, and when you sit down in your seat and look up at the screen when the movie starts, you see this. You'd feel super ripped off, wouldn't you? So make sure your strikes are nice and accurate so that people watching you can be excited too. And that brings us to memory. Now obviously memory is what you remember. When you get to the point that you have learned the entire kata and you can remember what it is, but you have sticking points where you have to stop and think. A good exercise is perform the kata up to the point where you have to stop and think about it. Remember what it was, do the part you're forgetting, then start over again. Keep doing that until that's not your sticking point. You'll move on to the next one and you'll repeat the process. Eventually, you'll have worked your way to the kata where you're not sticking anywhere through it. Remember, your instructor can correct your form, he can help you develop accuracy, and he can run you through repetition to help your memory. But if you don't stay on top of those on your own practice time, you're not going to grow as much as you could. Now, once you can do a kata at the slower speed that we've been talking about, while concentrating on all of those. Once you get to the point that you can do them 3 times with no pausing or mistakes that you notice, we're ready to move on. Next, and this is going to seem silly, but you want to make sure that you are breathing through the kata. You'll be surprised, especially the orange, purple, and blue are short enough, people tend to hold their breath while they do it. Once you reach green and brown, those katas are too long, really, to get through on one breath. Motor function and your memory degrade the longer you starve them from oxygen. So the more times you're doing a kata and the more you're holding your breath, the worse you're getting because you're not breathing. And last, let's talk about a practice schedule. To look your best, the last month before whatever performance event you're going to be doing, you should be doing whatever kata is relevant to the event you're doing, whether it's a test or tournament, 10 times a day, preferably in groups of 5 consecutively, with breaks in between. Now, I know you're going to think, Dustin, wait, I'm going for a black belt test. That's a lot of katas to do in a day. It is, and you're right. But look at it this way. If you walk up to any random person and say, hey, do you know a black belt? Most of them are not right off the top of their head. That's how important that is. So even if you can't get it that many times, get as many as you can. Now, I know I've hit you with some hard numbers there, but we're also aware that not everyone is a professional martial artist. Most people have a job go to school, or a family. As long as you're concentrating on your form, accuracy, and memory, any amount of practice you get in will help you grow. Think about that.